Part 3. This is quantum physics, people. But let's continue. Y'all's about to put this cat on blast like Nabi by asking him rhetorical questions. Quote, "Art thou wiser than Daniel? Or have not the wise instructed thee with their knowledge?" Stop. The same type of wise that tried to help Queen Bee, but it was too late. That can only mean this guy is being guided and instructed by devils. Yah is basically saying, you didn't unlock the sealed book, chump. The evildoers taught you their knowledge. Let's continue. Quote, "Hast thou gained power for thyself by thy own knowledge or thy own prudence, and gotten gold and silver in thy treasures?" Again, Yah is checking this cat for having the big head. He didn't do anything by himself, but had gotten his knowledge from the wise. But am I the only person to realize it's his knowledge that makes him head and shoulders above everyone else? And that specific knowledge has made him filthy rich? Let's continue. Quote, "By thy abundant knowledge and thy traffic, thou hast multiplied thy power. Thy heart has been lifted up by thy power." Stop. Whatever gadget he invents and how it revolutionizes industry makes him extremely knowledgeable, thus powerful, to the point he starts thinking he is a god himself. Quote, "Therefore thus says the Lord, since thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God, because of this, behold, I will bring on these strange plagues from the nations, and they shall draw their swords against thee, and against the beauty of thy knowledge." Stop. The Assyrian will not only make war with him, but will attack his invention also and destroy it. Quote, "And they shall bring down thy beauty," invention, industry, "to destruction, and they shall bring thee down, and thou shalt die the death of the slain in the heart of the sea." Stop. Though the scriptures attest the evildoers are at the bottom of the sea, and the serpent will bite them, I don't think a water sea is what's talked about. I will get more into that later. But now Yah is about to ask the anti-guy yet another question. Quote, "Will thou indeed say, I am God, before them that slay thee? Whereas thou art man, and not God. Thou shalt perish by the hands of strangers among the multitude of the uncircumcised. For I have spoken it, says the Lord." Stop. You know what? Just reading this, I just seen something. The strangers and the multitude of the uncircumcised, they're different people. I just seen that. He's going to die by that. We knew this with the Syrian, but this is yet more understanding of the armies of the north. It's not just going to be quote unquote humans. There's two different people or two different entities. But let's continue. Example. I love it when he talks like that. You know, when he says, "For I have spoken it." I love it when he's assertive. I like that. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the anti-guy will have the ability to cross over to the realm the angels abode. I personally think he will be some type of quantum cyborg interface, allowing him to think quantumly at lightning speed, thus allowing him to break the veil between our physical and the spiritual worlds. I'm going to continue with the lecture that will blow your mind, and at some point give you the second reason why this guy sounds like the anti-guy. Now, I'm not saying he is, but the prototype. This is the kind of guy this the anti-guy will be, or can be. I'm going to skip where he's basically talking about the entanglement theory, where every atom in the universe is connected and reacts at the same time. Now let's pick it up at what they are actually doing talking about the quantum computers. Here is where the Mandela effect comes into play. Mind you, there are thousands of smaller and different technologies being tested in laboratories all across the globe. Are you guys ready to hear this crap? Quote, but I'm about to give you a roundabout way of understanding this. Imagine that there really are parallel universes out there. Now imagine you have two that are exactly identical in every respect, all the way out to the horizon that's far as we can see, down to the last little atomic detail in every single thing, with only one difference. And that's the value of a little thing called a qubit on this chip. And that qubit is very much like a transistor on a conventional computer. It has two distinct physical states which we call 0 and 1 for bit. On a conventional computer, these are mutually exclusive. That device is either one or the other, never anything else. In a quantum computer, that device can be in a strange situation. Start listening up, people. Where these two parallel universes have a nexus, a point in space where they overlap. And when you increase the number of these devices, every time you add one of these qubits, you double the number of these parallel universes that you have access to. So the way I think about is that the shadows of these parallel worlds overlap with ours. And if we're smart enough, we can dive into them and grab their resources and pull them back into ours to make effect in our world. Now, this may sound very odd and bizarre to you. In fact, I am using language that a normal theoretical physicist probably wouldn't use. But what I'm telling you is absolutely correct. But what I am telling you is absolutely correct. And in line with the way that these things actually work. Example. Bingo! Got to the end. It's long, I'm sorry. But bingo! This is the reason why you can remember Forrest Gump saying, Mama always said life is like a box of chocolates, and not life was like a box of chocolates. The correct grammar in context to the storyline tells the proof is in the pudding, as my watchman and his chick always likes to say. Or how you know the apple vinegar in your refrigerator was named Bragg's with an S, and not just Bragg with no S. They are blending the dimensions, grabbing things in that dimension that can change things in this dimension. Sounds like the anti-guy will be a dimension raider, not realizing he is being guided by demons, or whatever benevolent form they greet him on the other side. That brings me to the second reason I believe either this is the guy or someone similar is the anti-guy. Uncle Daniel, chapter 11, 35 through 39 in the Septuagint. Quote, and some of them, Israel, that understand shall fall, to try them, Israel, as with fire, and to test them, and that they may be manifested at the time of the end. For the matter is yet for a set time. Stop. This is a very grim reminder of how hated a true believer will be during Jacob's trouble. Are the Anointed One's warnings starting to make sense to you now? But I stopped the beat because I wanted you to take special notice that the time is set already for this to blow. The evildoers cannot stop nor change their path of destruction, which can only mean everything that will manifest in the physical is an unintended consequence to their actions. This understanding gives a totally different meaning to the Anointed One's warning in Matthew 24 and 22. You know, quote, "And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened." What I mean is, I now perceive it means they are going to do something that will threaten the extinction of the entire universe. And Yah has to come and stop them before the forever unintended consequences take root. Think about it. If the earth is rocking back and forth like a drunkard, just imagine the havoc it is causing on the rest of the solar system. What do you think? Leave your theory in the comment section, please. But let's continue with Daniel and why I think this type of guy will be the anti-guy. Quote, "And he shall do accordingly to his will, and the king shall exalt and magnify himself against every god, and shall speak great swelling words, and shall prosper until the indignation shall be accomplished, for it is coming to an end. And he shall not regard any god of his fathers, nor desire of women." Smart guy. "Neither shall he regard any deity, for he shall magnify himself above all." Stop. The power of the dark side of money at its best. Remember, through his traffic, meaning dealings, he becomes rich. Through his riches and knowledge, well, let's just say it all went to his head. But wait! There's a slight twist to the story. Remember earlier when this guy said his machine reminded him of an alien god's altar? Well, comes to find out, apparently the anti-guy didn't reach his rock star status by himself. And with his newfound knowledge, power, and riches in this realm, he honors, not worships, but honors a couple of demons from the spiritual realm and rewards them with a kingdom in this dimension. You don't believe me, do you? Let's continue. Quote, "And he shall honor the God of forces on his place, and a God whom his fathers knew not, he shall honor with gold and silver and precious stones and desirable things. And he shall do thus in the strong places of refuge with a strange God, God of forces, and shall increase his glory. And he, anti-God, shall subject many to them, Lord of forces and the God his fathers knew not, and shall distribute the land in gifts." Example. So as you can see, things are much deeper than we imagine and far worse. Mankind is farther down the rabbit hole than imagined. I want to follow this video up with a chapter out of the book of, well, nope. If I say it, Mr. Malango will go ahead of me and tell you half of the video. So I will follow this video up with another that should shed a little more light onto this subject and crush and expose the KJV as Lucifer's agent once again. Thank you for looking at this video. Yah's will. Look for the next.